What's up, guys? We'll be live on Twitch grinding out some Warzone games tonight, but this time with drops enabled, as Call of Duty has just released their newest Season 4 drops, including the Sensory Overload Spray, the Love the Bomb emblem, and the one I'm sure you'll all want, the Bloodstream Grau 556 variant. Exclusive loot that you can only get from watching Twitch streamers, so if you want to grab these, we'll be live on Twitch tonight, and I'd love to chat with y'all, so links in the description below if you're interested, but anyways, let's get back to the regular scheduled content. It's Tuesday, my friends, which means it's an update day for Modern Warfare and Warzone. Yesterday's Week at a Glance blog post from Activision didn't really give us a whole ton of information as to what we could expect with today's update, but we ended up getting perhaps a little more than what we expected and perhaps a little less in some ways, depending on what really exactly you were looking for. So today we're going to be breaking down everything that changed with today's update and letting you know everything you need to so that you're in the know with it all. Anyways, as we go along, let me know your thoughts down below. Are you a fan of some of these changes? Maybe not so much. Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts. But as well, if you are new to the channel, do be sure to hit that subscribe button, especially if you're a part of that 58% of viewers not subscribed, so you can stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare, Warzone, and all things Call of Duty on a daily basis. But anyways, let's jump into it. Let's start out with the stuff that you can actually play around with. The playlist updates here are the big part for this week. For multiplayer side of things, we ended up getting tournaments, Realism Ground War, Gunfight Blueprints, Cheshire Park and Shoot House 24/7, TDM and Kill Confirmed Remix, and then a Party Modes game mode. For tournaments, this is around for another week here in which you can fight for the smaller XP and other rewards that you'll end up getting while progressing each round, in which you and a duo are pitted up against 15 other teams of 2, fighting it out in bracket style play on maps of IO9, Pine, Docks, Bazaar, Shipment, Stack, Trench, Speedball, and King, in which your main goal is to end up winning it all, of course, and getting that M4A1 blueprint. Now, if I were to guess, this is around for the entire week here. I know that we've had some kind of discrepancies in the past as to how long these stay around, some being only around for 3 days, some being around for 3 weeks in the past. So right now, just at least take advantage of it while you have the opportunity to, if you still need to get that blueprint. Realism Ground War is something we've seen before. It's a returning mode, but it's Ground War with the Realism rule sets, which is limited HUD, and that headshots are lethal. Gunfight Blueprints once again returns here, but it's of course just gunfight with blueprint variations instead of the just custom built attachment builds of these weapons, so you have some cool skins on some of these every so often, but you can jump into that. Cheshire Park and Shoot House 24/7 is something that is new here at this week and we haven't seen up until this point yet within Modern Warfare, and it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a mosh pit like you'd see with Dirty Old Houseboat or Shoot the Ship, in which is both the maps of Cheshire Park and Shoot House, all 24/7, but the cool part about this is that it's actually 8v8. It's not 6v6 like your standard modes, so you have a little bit more extra action, maybe ups the pace a little bit here of these games. So jump in with that. I think it'd be a lot of fun here. I myself will be jumping in a little bit here over the next coming week, but then we have TDM and Kill Confirmed Remix. Now, this is a playlist mosh pit of TDM and Kill Confirmed first and foremost, but there's a little bit of a change up in how the scoring and distribution of points will go in both of these. For TDM, you'll end up getting more score for headshots and kill streak kills, but in Kill Confirmed, you'll end up getting more score for tag confirms and also more points for kills within that mode. So again, each offering their own little slight remix, if you will, as the name suggests. It's a slight variant that increases some of the stakes of what we know, and also in the case of Kill Confirmed, promotes a little bit more objective play, which I'm all for. It ups the ante a little bit with that one. Then finally, we have Party Modes, which is a free-for-all mosh pit, including the game modes of One in the Chamber, Gun Game, and All or Nothing. Now, unfortunately, unlike, say, I think it was Black Ops 4, as of recently, it's not something that's stable and constant where you can just jump over to jumping into any of the party game modes, but right now you have these on rotation where you can end up jumping in and playing those 3 fan favorites if you're interested in just taking a little bit of a break from maybe grinding out tournaments or something like that, or whatever it may be. On the Warzone side of things, though, unfortunately, it's not all that exciting. What we have is our standard BR playlist of solos, duos, trios, and quads, and that's something that has been there for quite some time now, but the only difference is that we don't have any subtle variation of it. Last week we had Stimulus Trios, which was awesome. I absolutely loved that. It's not often that I make a dedicated video on one single game mode because I enjoy it that much, but that happened. We don't have 200 BR quads anymore. We don't have any of that stuff. It's just our standard solos, duos, trios, and quads. So this update removed Stimulus Trios, but also then for the plunder side of things, you have now just standard plunder trios. Again, no variation here with this for this week, so unfortunately, it's a little bit more of a bleak update on that front, but that's some stuff that was changed out, or I guess altered for this week as well. Jumping over to the shop, that's the only other stuff that really changed here on the front-facing side of things. We'll talk about it at the later portion of this video. A little bit of some technical changes that were made as of earlier today, but we ended up seeing 3 new bundles added in. Rose was actually added in without any prior notice. Kind of figured that would be something that was mentioned by the Week at a Glance blog post the week that it was going to be going live, but as with yesterday's blog post and it now going live live today, that wasn't the case. It just kind of popped up out of nowhere. So we also saw the Hydra Slayer and the CDL Team Supporter packs also introduced within the shop. So for Rose, this is 2,400 COD points for her bundle. You end up getting the Virago skin, the CR56 Divide blueprint, the Silver Plume handgun, the Treasure Trove watch, the Snafu finishing move with another doggo, the Dirt Nap quip, the Challenger charm, the Amazon sticker, the Ghost Town calling card, and the Situation Normal emblem. Now the skin is of course pretty dope. It closes out what we know for the operators in Season 4 as well. This one though doesn't seem to come with any sort of additional challenges like how we saw with Gaz's bundle introduced a couple of weeks back. He had a couple of uniforms just by simple in-game challenges you could unlock, but they were accessible by buying the operator. That doesn't seem to be the case here at this one. The Divide skin is a decent build of the blueprint and has a pretty nice design to it, though you may lose some of the gray pattern if you get rid of the Intruder barrel, which if I were to play with it, I likely would get rid of it, but overall, it's pretty cool. But along with the Divide, the Silver Plume both include blue Tracer rounds as well, so if you're a fan of the Tracer packs, this one may interest you. And also, there's dismemberment effects for both of these weapons as well. So you can keep that in mind, but this is available for 2,400 COD points this week. Then we have the Hydra Slayer bundle for 1,400 COD points, in which it's 2 blueprints and 2 smaller customization items. The Soul of the Beast Holger 26 variant, the Spirit of the Beast MP5, the Hydra Hellfire calling card, and the Regeneration spray. Now, this one I may pick up actually just because of the MP5. I don't really care too much for the Holger, but the nice part is that with both of these, you don't really sacrifice the design for the most part if you change out the attachments, and they're not exactly pre-built to what you may want in a build for a weapon. The Holger, you may lose out on a little bit of the stock if you change that, and maybe the optic, though not so much as the stock would change it. And then also in the way of the MP5, you don't really lose out on much of anything except for the bronze trim on the stock if you do change the stock option. So those are there available for you guys for 1,400 COD points. And the final thing introduced within the shop this week is that of the CDL Team Supporter Pack, which is $5. It's not COD points. It's going to prompt you to actually pay the real life money equivalent to that, just like you'd see with the CDL pack introduced last week, and also some of the things like, say, the code bundles that are introduced every so often. But this comes along with 12 sprays, calling cards, and emblems for each of the CDL teams. So if you're interested in sporting off some smaller customization items for your favorite team in the Call of Duty League here as we prep and go towards champs, that's something you can take advantage of here with this week as well. But that's the front-facing stuff. That's the stuff that we know about and we can see firsthand here at this. But there were 3 changes listed as well within Modern Warfare from Infinity Ward earlier in the day. In the tweet earlier this afternoon, Infinity Ward said a patch is now live across all platforms that fixes the renaming of the D-Day's Border War skin and bio, an exploit where players could pick up weapons they dropped before infill sequence in Warzone, and also a Rytech AMR bug where shots were hitting above the crosshairs in their scope. Now, the D-Day Border War skin bio and rename is something that's a little bit smaller here with that. Truth be told, I wasn't really familiar with why it was going to be changed here, but it was adjusted no less. Then for the fixing an exploit though of where players could pick up weapons that they dropped before the infill sequence, this was something that was hit or miss, something you may have come across and could have been very game breaking, could have ruined your game early on because of this. So for those of you guys that weren't aware of what this was, there's that countdown timer in the pregame staging area for Warzone, and while for the majority of that time you'll be in there, you can't actually access things like your quick UI to see ammo and armor plates and everything like that. The last 5 seconds or so, you could bring that up, and then also you could drop your weapons, and if you did that in the last second right before it went to a fade to black sequence that loaded up the infill sequence, it would drop your weapon right then and there, and it would be placed exactly in that position once you had the option to actually go into the real map. So it was kind of like that world was still the same here, but after that cutoff of about 5 seconds, you actually had the option to play with whatever was on the ground there. So you could drop your fully kitted weapon within that last second and then land on that exact spot. That was the only sort of catch with it, is that you had to land on the exact spot in which you dropped it, but you could in the first 10 seconds or so theoretically of landing have a fully kitted out weapon or two that, depending on what weapon it would be, could be something you could actually use the entire game and still do well with. So of course that was something that needed to be fixed out and was something that thankfully was. But then finally with the fixing an error for the Rytech AMR scopes, those shots were hitting above where the crosshair is placed, which is naturally bad for accuracy. You're supposed to be able to see where those shots are going with that crosshair, hence the exact reasoning to have them. So for that fix coming out, that's definitely nice, though it doesn't seem like that actually still fixed out the one shot, one kill issue with this, where you can't get one shot headshots with the AMR just yet. again. And that was something now that we're going on 2 weeks with that being an issue. So hopefully that gets fixed soon, but for the time being, we don't really know much of anything outside of that. But anyways, that's the update here and what changed today within Modern Warfare and Warzone. So that's where we're gonna wrap it up. Again, I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. Some of the stuff, like we said, was a little more than what we expected. Some, maybe not so much, where it fell short of our expectations, but it's what we have here for this week, no less. So that's where we're gonna wrap it up. Let me know your thoughts down below. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare, updates, news, information, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. We got you covered here on the channel, so if any of that interests you, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected outside of YouTube. I live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.